Okay, so you're going to be crafting your stories. We're going to be engaging in mythopoetics together. A lot of different prompts to support you in this process, and we're going to be sharing our stories. And there's something important I want to say about my process of supporting writers and story crafters and sharing their stories is that I have a very, very compassionate process that I use for doing this. The stories we share and that come out of this course often are really sacred and tender stories. And this is this is kind of like a bit of a chrysalis space. And we're not trying to like create something that's going to be really fit for publication in 10 weeks. And we're not trying to say, oh, we're going to have it all figured out and you're going to have a story you can publish at the end of 10 weeks. That requires a certain type, you can do that. That requires a certain type of not just rigor, but you step over and you can go too fast during this process. So I'd be really happy if you come away with like a really rich draft that you can keep working on. And I have had people who keep working with me, or they keep finding other people they want to work with, or they start their own writing group or whatever, right? There's lots of ways of doing that. But this is like grounded in compassion and truth telling. And while I do think we can kind of keep recrafting origin stories, I do have a pretty strong, like, yes, I want to work with the fantastic and the mythological, but I also have I don't want you to think that I don't have a very strong appreciation of truth. And there are definitely times when I might ask you, well, what's your evidence for some of this? And if you don't have historical evidence for some of what you want to talk about, that's okay. But let's be clear about what does and doesn't have some of that evidence, because we also don't want to be perpetuating patterns of just retelling stories that we've heard and don't have any evidence around them without being clear that that's what we're doing. And there's times when we need to tell stories that don't have evidence, but we want to know that for ourselves. We don't want to like delude ourselves. So I have very strong emphasis on both the fantastical and the evidence-based, which might sound like a funny combination, but it actually works together really well. And I really have a strong focus on being compassionate to ourselves and letting ourselves be creative and experimental.